Pythagoras, a Greek astronomer, believed that we rotated around a central fire and that the sun rotated around us along with the central fire. He was the first to claim that Earth was a sphere. With this, we had the basic structure for our solar system. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher who made contributions to astronomy. He thought that the Earth was the center of the universe and claimed the Earth to be a sphere due to the shadow on the moon and the way that the sun is positioned to Earth, in which it would cast a crescent shadow on the moon rather than a straight line. Aristarchus applied geometry to astronomy to find the distance to the moon and size of the sun. Ptolemy was the last astronomer of antiquity. His major accomplishment was the completion of a system that can accurately account for the motions of the planets using combinations of regular circular motions. As a geographer, he invented terrestrial latitude and longitude, which made today's model of the solar system. Galileo was an Italian astronomer and the forefather of what we know today about astronomy. He discovered the moon was a sphere, not flat. He discovered Venus had phases like the moon, and discovered Jupiter had revolving moons which didn't revolve around the Earth. Kepler, a German astronomer and astrologer who believed that the sun was the principal source of motive power in the universe, devised 3 laws of planetary motion. 1. The orbit of every planet is an ellipse with the sun at a focus. 2. A line joining a planet and the sun sweeps out equal areas during equal intervals of time. And 3. The square of the orbital period of a planet is directly proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis of its orbit. Newton was an English astronomer and created his law of universal gravitation, which describes the gravitational attraction between bodies with mass. He also formulated a theory of gravitation. Edmund Halley was an English astronomer who is best known for computing the orbit of eponymous Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet is a short visible comet visible from Earth every 75 to 76 years.
Albert Einstein formulated his theory of special relativity, in which determined that the laws of physics are the same for all non-accelerating observers, and that the speed of light in a vacuum was independent of the motion for all observers. This theory introduced a new framework for all physics and proposed new concepts of space and time.
Niels Bohr was a Danish physicist who made contributions to understanding atomic structure and quantum theory. Wolfgang Pauli was an Austrian physicist who discovered that in an atom, no 2 electrons can occupy the same quantum state simultaneously. Werner Heisenberg was a German theoretical physicist. He devised a theory of the atom in which the electrons absorb and emit radiation of fixed wavelengths when jumping between the fixed orbits around a nucleus. Edwin Hubble revolutionized the world of astrophysics. His research proved that the universe is expanding, and he created a classification for galaxies. He proved other galaxies existed outside of the Milky Way. Georges Lemaitre proposed the expansion in the universe. He also proposed what became known as the Big Bang Theory. He derived Hubble's law and proposed it as a generic phenomenon in relativistic cosmology.
Robert Oppenheimer was the first to write papers suggesting the existence of black holes. He did important research to the theory of cosmic ray showers and also contributed to the then newly discovered quantum theory. Fred Hoyle formulated the steady-state theory in which the universe could be eternal and essentially unchanging while still having the galaxies we observe moving away from each other. Penzias and Wilson discovered cosmic microwave background radiation. They elaborated on the Big Bang theory that if there had been a Big Bang, the residue of explosion should now take form of a now level background radiation throughout the universe. Armstrong and Aldrin were 2 of the first people to ever land on the moon. Armstrong was the first to step onto the lunar surface. The Mesopotamians were the first astronomers. They found 8 additional constellations and discovered that a group of stars would change before sunrise depending on the seasons. The Egyptians aligned the Great Pyramids under Saturn, Venus, and Mercury.
Stonehenge is thought to predict solstices just by moving the stones around Aubrey holes. The Chinese made and recorded observations of eclipses. They recorded 900 lunar eclipses in 2,600 years. They also recorded meteor showers, quest stars, and comets. They even recorded Halley's Comet. Thales told of an eclipse happening on 28 May 585 BC.
Babylonians recorded observations such as movements of the stars and the planets. They recorded their observations about the daily, monthly, and yearly position of the stars and planets, and we are able to predict lunar and solar eclipses with this information. Eratosthenes was the first person to make a good measurement of the size of the Earth. He also made a device to detect how the stars move as the Earth turns.
Hipparchus is noted as the greatest astronomer of antiquity. He refined Aristarchus's method of finding the distances to the sun and moon, which discovered a new star and is the earliest systematic catalog of the brighter stars. The Mayan/Mesoamericans' monuments and buildings were aligned to the position of sunrise and sunset at the equinoxes and solstices. Venus was very important to them, and battles were timed to coincide with the positions of Venus. They also prepared extensive tables of risings of Venus and of lunar and solar eclipses. The Muslims' main contribution was the preservation of the astronomy of the ancient Greeks. They're often more accurate than those of the ancients and also wished to verify the work of earlier astronomers. Most work was in Arabic, and they worked closely with Christian Europe.
Copernicus formulated a model of the universe that placed the sun rather than the earth at the center of the universe. Tycho Brahe discovered a supernova as bright as Venus and could be seen during the day.